One of my Christmas memories. In our family, we celebrated Christmas on December 25th, then another Christmas was celebrated at our grandparents' farm, which brings fond memories as a young child. My grandparents celebrated Christmas according to the Julian calendar on January the 7th, the Greek Orthodox Religion. They were of Serbian nationality. On January the 6th, their Christmas Eve, meat wasn't allowed, and fish was served along with other food as was their custom. On one corner of their huge kitchen, straw was spread on the wooden floor. In the straw, they hid nuts, Christmas candies, and oranges. Near the golden straw was their wooden table with a drawer on one side where they kept the silverware of knives, forks, and spoons. On this table was a shiny polished oil lamp. They didn't have electricity then. The table was nicely set. The candles were embedded in wax in the candle holders. Us younger ones had to search for the goodies in the straw after dinner. The nuts were cracked open with a stone or hammer by the fireplace in the large living room where we played games. A Christmas prayer in the Serbian language was delivered by my grandmother before eating. On the table, we had smoked meat from the smokehouse. Duck was served, and cabbage rolls called sarma was delicious with sauerkraut that was made in the fall from their cabbage garden. No tomatoes were added. Smoked pork hocks were boiled with the cabbage rolls, and a roux was made to thicken the juices. Chicken soup made with their free-range chickens was served with homemade noodles. Mom made homemade walnut and poppy seed rolls called patika, crescent cookies, and apple strudel from their apple orchard picked in the fall. Grandfather made flatbread slightly raised that was rubbed with garlic as soon as it was taken from the hot oven. Homemade canned pears, peaches, crab apples, and grape juice bottled in the fall. Apple cider and root beer that they had bottled in the fall. Niagara dry ginger ale was bought. Homemade wine was served to the adults that they made in the fall with a grape press they owned. A little of the red wine was boiled with sugar that Grandma would give us a teaspoon of it. The grapes were from their vineyard. They owned a stainless machine called a milk separator, from one spout milk would come out, from the other cream. Cottage cheese was made along with other cheeses. Grandfather would take us 6 sisters for a ride on his fancy black 2-seater sleigh that was trimmed in gold. This sleigh was driven by one horse. On the horse's harness, he had a few bells that he placed. He couldn't fit all of us on the sleigh at the same time, we had to take turns. I could still hear those bells ringing as they drove off on the snow-covered road a long distance away, fading softly in the moonlit skies and stars in the still night. One of my gifts the one year was a pair of bob skates with 2 blades at the sole. I was too young for the 1-blade skate. We skated on the river that was in front of the farmhouse that went for miles. The water came from the Grand River. On the other side of the road was the first well and canal, which was built in the early 1800s, where we used to fish. We received bought dolls and homemade dolls, games of snakes and ladders, pick-up sticks, and card games that we played by the fireplace. I look back every year at those precious memories at Christmas time. By Dorothy, Anne, Sanche, born January 24, 1932.